Warriors fans, take a deep breath, because what's happening right now in San Francisco goes far beyond what happens on the court. It's about legacy. It's about faith. It's about what happens when a dynasty reaches the edge of its life and refuses to die. In recent years, we've seen this team defy the impossible. They changed the way basketball is played. They turned the game into art. But time is relentless, and today, even Stephen Curry's golden empire feels the weight of years, injuries, and tough decisions. And in the middle of this storm, a name has emerged to reignite the flame. A name that carries the power to alter the fate of the NBA, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Before diving into this plot full of rumors, expectations, and hard realities, make sure to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Would you risk the team's future for one last shot at glory now? Because that's exactly the question dividing the Warriors front office at this moment. At the start of the offseason, among the many teams monitoring Giannis' situation, one name began to stand out quietly: the Golden State Warriors. It all began with small gestures: a dinner in San Francisco, an appearance at an event, a few photos floating around social media. And suddenly, the rumors started to grow. The idea of seeing Giannis wearing blue and gold, playing alongside Stephen Curry, made the entire NBA stop for a moment. But the question echoing among analysts and fans was simple: is this real or just another offseason illusion? According to journalist Anthony Slater of ESPN, the Warriors themselves seemed uninterested at first. They poured cold water on the idea, as he said on the Who Collective podcast. But Slater also reminded everyone of something important: that exactly how it went with Jimmy Butler last year. They denied, they dodged, and weeks later, Butler was in uniform, ready to fight alongside Curry. And that's where things get interesting. Because if there's one thing Golden State has mastered over the years, it's playing the game in the shadows. They talk little, plan a lot, and act when no one expects it. Today, the situation is unlike anything we've seen before. The Warriors' era, built on talent, chemistry, and brilliance, is at a crossroads. Curry still shines, even at 37, but carries a look of someone who knows time is running out. Jimmy Butler arrived with the Warriors' spirit, the kind of player who bleeds for the team, but the body is starting to feel the toll of battle. Draymond Green remains a heartbeat of the squad, but his temper, suspensions, and mental wear become real threats. And Al Horford, experienced and solid, is a symbol of wisdom, but also of mortality. On the other hand, there's the future. Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, and Tracy Jackson Davis represent hope, renewal, youth. They are the bridge between what was and what could be. But for the future to shine, the present might have to be sacrificed. And that's exactly what's at stake. Because to bring Giannis in, almost everything would have to go. Players, draft picks, perhaps even the very essence of what this team has become. Behind the scenes, the debate is intense. On one side, executives and coaches believe the team should honor the cycle, that it's not time for drastic revolutions. On the other, there are those who argue that it's now or never. That Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler deserve one more true run at a title, one last dance worthy of their legacy. Slater explained that right now, there isn't strong belief within the organization that a Giannis trade will actually happen. But a lack of visible movement has never meant inactivity for the Warriors. They are masters of silent execution. That's how they shocked the world in 2022, when everyone doubted the return of the dynasty, and it came roaring back. And if basketball teaches us anything, it's that the improbable should never be ruled out, especially when the subject is Golden State. The idea of Giannis joining the Warriors isn't just a basketball transaction. It's symbolic. It's the meeting of two worlds, the technical genius of Curry with the physical and emotional dominance of Antetokounmpo. It's as if the past and future touched for a brief moment. Imagine a game in San Francisco. Curry leading the offense, Butler moving off the ball, Draymond orchestrating the defense. And suddenly, Giannis cuts to the paint, catches a pass, and detonates a dunk. The Chase Center in a frenzy. The NBA in silence. That's a fantasy fueling fans' imaginations. But turning fantasy into reality comes at an enormous cost. Giannis' contract is one of the largest in the league. The Bucks would demand a massive return, multiple first-round picks, promising young players, and possibly complex financial adjustments. A trade like that would leave the Warriors roster thin, vulnerable, with little flexibility. But at the same time, it could make them instant title favorites. And that's exactly the kind of dilemma that separates great teams from legends. Inside the Chase Center, there's also talk of patience. Some believe the best move is to wait. Giannis could become a free agent in 2027, the same year Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler's contract expire. A coincidence? Maybe not. For many, it's the kind of cosmic alignment that happens when something monumental is on the horizon. If the Warriors resist acting now, they could prepare the ground for a major move later, keeping their picks, developing their youth, and waiting for the right time to strike. But will time allow for such patience? The clock doesn't stop. Curry knows it, and he, more than anyone, understands the weight of opportunity. One last run, one last ring, one last chapter. Meanwhile, in the present, the team is trying to rediscover its identity. The preseason started with 3 wins in 4 games, sparking optimism. The offense is flowing again. The chemistry between veterans and young players seems to grow stronger each day. But no one ignores that the road to the playoffs is long, and that the West has never been tougher. The 2025 Warriors are a team split between 2 eras. On one side, the glory of the past, with names that made history. On the other, the uncertain but promising future. And in the middle, a decision that could change everything. Bet on experience or rebuild from scratch. There's something poetic about this moment for franchise. Stephen Curry, at 37, still plays with the same smile that enchanted the world in 2015, but now with the calm eyes of someone who understands the price of greatness. Jimmy Butler, the relentless competitor, sees in Golden State a chance to prove once again that leadership isn't taught, it's lived. Draymond Green is a fire, the untamed spirit that keeps the locker room alive, even if sometimes through chaos. And Horford, the quiet veteran, brings balance, serenity, and the weight of experience. It's a quartet that carries more than talent. They carry history, and they know every season now could be their last together. The question is, how far is it worth going for one last dream? Is it worth sacrificing young talent? Is it worth giving up the future for a flash of glory? For the Warriors, the answer might not be in numbers, but in emotions. This team was never just about stats. It was about emotion, courage, breaking the mold. They redefined the game, and maybe now they're ready to redefine their ending. The Knicks are currently seen as favorites in the race for Giannis. They have assets, picks, and youth to offer, but nothing is guaranteed. The Bucks trust Giannis' word. He's reaffirmed his faith in the team's competitiveness. But those who know the NBA know everything changes fast. One bad season, an early playoff exit, and the doors open again. And when that happens, the Warriors will be there, watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. In the end, the Warriors story has always been about more than basketball. It's about belief. About unity, about the invisible force connecting a team to its fans. Even as time passes, even as titles turn into memories, something eternal remains in that culture. The shine of the golden jersey, the sound of a 3-pointer slicing the air, the echo of San Francisco's roaring crowd. And maybe, just maybe, this isn't the end of the dynasty. It could be the beginning of a new kind, more mature, more human, more aware of its own legacy. Warriors fans, this is the time to believe. To understand that every rumor carries a spark of possibility. To accept that even at dusk, the flame of greatness still burns. Giannis or not, this team is still a symbol of spectacle, passion, and resilience. So tell us, would you trade the franchise's future for Giannis now? Or would you wait for the right moment, when destiny aligns the stars in 2027? Leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications to follow every chapter of this golden saga. Because if there's one thing the Warriors story has taught us, it's that greatness never disappears. It only changes form. And maybe, right before our eyes, the next act of the Golden State legend is beginning.